What's up, guys? We are here walking to Frankenstein Castle in Germany. So this is like the castle which inspired Mary Shelley to write her novel Frankenstein. So we're gonna go check it out. The history and the legends, myths behind this castle. Burg Frankenstein or Frankenstein Castle is a hilltop castle in the Odenwald in southern Hesse in Germany. It is one of the many historic castles along the Hessian Bergstrasse route, almost famous for its vineyards and its mild climate. And next to the parking lot is a memorial erected by gymnasts and inaugurated on September 4, 1927. It is a memorial dedicated to the fallen soldiers of the two world wars. On the cross is an inscription commemorating the dead and what they died for, including 1914 to 18 and 1939 to 45. Then up to the steep hill to the castle. Frankenstein is a German name consisting of two words. The Franks are a Germanic tribe, and Stein is a German word for stone. Literally, it means stone of the Franks. The word Stein is common in names of landscapes, places, and castles in Germany. But before 1250, Lord Conrad II, Reis of Burg, built Frankenstein Castle, and thereafter named himself von of zu Frankenstein. The first document proving the existence of the castle in 1252 bears his name. The document shows that the castle had already been built and was being used at the time, so the exact date of construction is uncertain. Assumptions go back to the Frankish times. Conrad was the founder of the Free Imperial Barony of Frankenstein, which was subject only to the jurisdiction of the emperor, with possessions in Niederbirbach, Darmstadt, Oststadt, Wetterau, and Hesse. Additionally, the Frankensteins held other possessions and independent rights as burgraves in certain areas such as Frankfurt am Main and Bensheim. In 1292, the Frankenstein opened the castle to the Counts of Katzenelnbogen and formed an alliance with them. In 1363, the castle was split into two parts and owned by two different families of the Lords and Knights of Frankenstein. At the beginning of the 15th century, the castle was enlarged and modernized. The Frankenstein Knights became again independent of the Counts of Katzenelnbogen. The family were strong opponents of the Reformation, adhering to the Roman Catholic faith and the associated right of patronage. Following, in addition, territorial conflicts and connected disputes with the Landgraviate of Hesse-Darmstadt, the family head, Lord John I, decided to sell the lordship to the Landgraves of Hesse-Darmstadt in 1662, after various lawsuits at the Imperial Chamber Court. Landgrave Ludwig VI bought the castle together with the Frankenstein dominion for 109,000 guilders. The Lords of Frankenstein, barons since 1670, retreated to Franconia, where they had bought a new dominion, and their descendants still live there today. Since the Landgraves was less concerned with the castle than with the Frankenstein's territorial possessions, the castle fell into disrepair in the years that followed. Until the 18th century, it still served as a home for the invalids and a place of refuge during Louis XIV's wars of conquest from France. Soon afterwards, rumors of hidden treasures caused considerable destruction as walls and cellar ceilings were torn down in order to get hold of the supposed treasures. The core of the castle was then finally destroyed in the years that followed by the wife of the castle manager, who turned everything she can into money. This included the furniture, lead from the roofs, the tiles, and the wooden stairs. The farmers of the neighboring villages also used the castle as a cheap quarry until there was hardly one stone left. It was not until the middle of the 19th century that Grand Duke Ludwig III partially restored the castle in the spirit of the castle romance of the time. But this was done clumsily and was more destroyed than built up. The most obvious restorations, the two towers, were also carried out incorrectly. In the 20th century, the castle increasingly became a destination for excursions. In the 1960s, the Burg Frankenstein restaurant was built on the site of the Outer Bailey, but was criticized for its architecture that didn't fit the overall picture of the castle. But the construction continued and was inaugurated on September 9, 1970, after 5 years of construction. In the 1970s, US soldiers created an annual Halloween festival that is now considered the largest of its kind in Germany. In the courtyard is the castle chapel, and inside are tombstones that came from the surrounding churches and were only brought up in the 19th century. They show some of the last Frankensteiners who lived within the castle. After walking the castle grounds, we headed to the back, where a stair is located that leads to the forest. Now let us look at some of the myths and legends about Burg Frankenstein. Now let me tell you about Mary Shelley. She is the female writer of the Gothic horror story Frankenstein. It's about a doctor named Victor Frankenstein who created a creature from corpses of other human beings. After that, he abandoned his creation, and this creature, longing for answers about his life and his surroundings, led to terrible consequences. In 1673, Johann Conrad Dippel was born in the castle and later became a professional alchemist. It is suggested that Dippel influenced Mary Shelley's fantasy when she wrote the novel, though there is no mention of the castle in Shelley's journals from the time. But it's known that in 1814, prior to writing the famous novel, Shelley took a journey on the river Rhine. She spent a few hours in the town of Kernsheim, which is located about 10 miles away from the castle. Several non-fiction books about her life claim Dippel as a possible influence. Well, Dippel created an animal oil known as Dippel's oil, which was supposed to be an equivalent to the elixir of life. He also attempted to purchase the castle in exchange for his elixir formula, but the offer was turned down. There are rumors that during his stay at the castle, Dippel practiced not only alchemy but also anatomy and dug up bodies and performed medical experiments on them inside the castle, and that the local cleric would have warned his parish that Dippel had created a monster that was brought to life by a bolt of lightning. There are local people who still claim today that this actually happened, and that this tale was related to Shelley's stepmother. Unfortunately, none of these claims have been proven to this date, and some local researchers doubt any connection between Mary Shelley and Frankenstein Castle. One of the most famous legends is about Lord George and the Dragon by August Nonagel. It is said that long ago a dangerous dragon lived in the garden near the well of Burg Frankenstein. The peasants of the neighboring village, Niederbirbach, live in fear of the mighty dragon. For it is said the dragon will creep in at night and eat the villagers and their children while asleep. One day, a knight by the name of Lord George rode into town. The townsfolk were desperate. Seeing a brave knight gave them hope, and they poured out their troubles and sorrows as he promised to help them. The next day, he put on his armor and rode up to the castle, into the garden, and straight to the well where the dragon was. Lord George got off his horse and attacked the dragon. The dragon fought for his life, puffed and spewed out fire and steam. Hours passed as the two continued to battle. Finally, just about the knight and the dragon was about to drop from exhaustion, the knight plunged his sword into the underbelly of the beast and was victorious. But as the dragon struggled in agony, it coiled its tail with a poisonous spine around the knight's belly and stung him, and they both died. The legend itself is based on Knight Georg von Frankenstein, who died in 1531. His tomb shows him fighting with the dragon. But the legend arose much later. The motif of the tomb presumably alludes to the patron saint of the deceased, Saint George, who was usually depicted fighting a dragon. Then there's the Fountain of Youth, hidden behind the herb garden of the castle. Legend has it in the first full moon, after Walpurgis night, old women from the nearby villages had to undergo test of courage, where they will venture into the grounds of the castle and search for the Fountain of Youth and drink from it. The one who succeeded became rejuvenated at the age she had been on the night of her wedding. It is not known if this tradition is still practiced these days. After that, we moved down the hill and saw a couple more sites, mostly catered to little kids. There's also a coal mine with a charcoal kiln. There was even a picture of a step-by-step on how to create a kiln. There are also various tabs offering information on how logs or woods can be created as building materials or music instrument. Then we came to the next story, the Gold Rush. In the 18th century, this incident caused some turmoil near the Burg Frankenstein. Legend and visions of fortune tellers caused local residents to believe that a treasure was hidden near the castle. In 1763, dreadful scenes took place which even intervention of a priest from the neighboring village could not stop. Even though no gold-filled vaults were ever found, fortune hunters did not abandon the digging. Until one Johann Heinrich Droth was killed when his dig collapsed on him, and he was given a suicide burial. In 1770, 87, and 88, further attempts were made, but nothing of any value was found. It was then that the local authorities banned further gold digging. So those are some of the legends related to Burg Frankenstein. We looped around the trail back to the castle, and we went to the restaurant. And because the restaurant has a nice view of the terrace overlooking the hill, we decided to stay and have our meals. We had some chicken and salmon. Burg Frankenstein has become an important cultural icon in Germany. The castle's medieval architecture, stunning views, and connection to the famous story have made it a popular destination. Its significance had contributed to its importance in both German and global contexts. Its connection to the Frankenstein novel, folklore, and the Halloween celebration makes it a fascinating destination for those interested in history, legends, and the enduring power of storytelling.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoy our tour of Frankenstein Castle, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Till next time, bye.
So guys, if you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and feel free to comment.
Hit the bell, hit the bell!